Last time, we talked about money. We said money is trust. Now let's talk about what happens when that trust starts to weaken. Because inflation doesn't just mean prices going up. It means your time is worth less. Your savings buy less. Your future becomes more expensive. So what is inflation? Really? And who controls it? Most people define inflation like this. Things are getting more expensive. But that's only the surface. Inflation is the decline of purchasing power. It means each dollar buys less than it used to. If a sandwich cost $5 last year and $6 today, it's not just that the sandwich got more expensive. It's that your dollar got weaker. Inflation is about the value of money, not just prices. There are many causes of inflation. But let's simplify. Inflation usually happens when the money supply increases. Demand rises faster than supply production costs. Increase, the most discussed factor, is money supply. When more dollars enter the economy, but the amount of goods stays the same, each dollar represents a smaller share of real value. Imagine 10 people sharing 10 pizzas. Each person gets 1 pizza. Now imagine there are still 10 pizzas, but 20 people. Each person gets half. The pizza didn't change. The division did. That's inflation. In the United States, inflation is monitored and managed primarily by the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve, often called the Fed, does not control prices directly. Instead, it controls interest rates and money supply. When inflation rises too fast, the Fed may increase interest rates. Higher interest rates make borrowing more expensive. That slows spending. Slower spending reduces demand, and reduced demand can cool inflation. It's not instant, but it's powerful. Interest rates affect almost everything: credit cards, mortgages, car loans, business investment. When rates rise, loans become more expensive. People borrow less. Companies expand more cautiously. When rates fall, borrowing becomes easier. Spending increases. The economy accelerates. Inflation is deeply connected to this cycle. That's why every announcement from the Federal Reserve moves markets instantly. Not necessarily. A small amount of inflation, around 2% per year, is considered healthy in modern economies. Why? Because it encourages spending and investment. If prices slowly rise, people are less likely to hoard money. They invest, they build, they grow businesses. But high inflation is dangerous. When inflation becomes unpredictable, trust weakens. And remember, money is built on trust. In extreme cases, hyperinflation can destroy entire economies. History has shown this many times. Inflation hits differently depending on who you are. If you hold cash in a savings account with low interest, inflation quietly erodes your purchasing power. If your salary does not rise as fast as prices, your real income falls. But if you own assets like stocks or real estate, inflation can sometimes increase their value. This is why understanding inflation is critical. Because inflation does not affect everyone equally. It rewards some. It punishes others. When inflation rises, investors often move money into assets, stocks, real estate, commodities. Large asset managers like BlackRock constantly analyze inflation trends to adjust portfolios. Because inflation changes the value of future cash flows, and investing is about the future. If inflation rises unexpectedly, it can reshape markets overnight. Inflation is not only economic, it is psychological. If people expect prices to rise, they start spending faster. Businesses raise prices preemptively. Workers demand higher wages. Expectations alone can fuel inflation. That's why central banks focus not only on numbers, but on managing expectations. Because once inflation expectations spiral, they are difficult to control. Inflation is not just higher prices, it is the changing value of money. It reflects the balance between supply and demand. It reflects policy decisions. It reflects confidence. When you understand inflation, you stop seeing price tags the same way. You start asking better questions. Is my income keeping up? Is my money growing faster than inflation? Am I holding cash or assets? Because in a world where money evolves, inflation quietly shapes your financial future. In the next video, we'll explore something even more personal, credit, and how a 3-digit number can control your financial life. Subscribe if you want to understand how the system really works.